are back. Hello, sports fans, college football fans, Central Michigan Chippewa fans. I am Flying C along with my Double C Sports co founder Hunter. You have stumbled into the Two Idiots Talking podcast as part of Double C Sports Season 2. And we're actually going to do this the right way now. We're actually going to start our season before the college football season even begins. So we're actually going to do this the right way. Hunter, I know you and I talk every day, but it's almost the best time of the year, my friend. How you doing?
It is finally upon us. It's not the full. It's the appetizer weekend. It's not the full meal, but I'll take what we can get. It's better than. And no disrespect to high school football. I love high school. I like high school football, but it's
There
not
you
the
go.
same. Uh, it's finally a few days away, and congrats to Jordan Hudson on getting a free trip to Ireland out of the deal.
Boy, we will get into that toward the end of the show. But yes, it is back the 2026 college football season. Kind of, like Hunter said, kind of kicks off on, Friday. Or is it Thursday?
Well, FCS games are being played on Thursday. Yes.
Okay, so there you go. College football kicks off on Thursday. There's a couple FBS games on Friday too, right?
Yeah. I think there's games all weekend.
Well,
There
there you
there are
go.
games all weekend. I'm not sure. I be honest, I haven't looked at the full slate, but I know there's games starting. There were JUCO games last week if you really want to get crazy, but um yeah, no, I
Yeah,
I think there are games Thursday to Sunday night. So we'll be good and well fed by Sunday.
yeah. That I have a lot of respect for. I can't wait for it. Well, like I said, week 0 is just about upon us. By the time we on get this online, it'll be only a couple of days away from college football kicking off, and then of course the season kicks off in earnest on September the 5th with the first full Saturday of college football action. Week 1 begins that Thursday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, September 3rd we'll have games, and then Michigan State's doing their annual Friday night game on the 4th. So, yeah.
Yep, exactly. And you'll find me at ironically enough, you're gonna find me at a high school game um, during that first Thursday of the college football season. But that's enough of that. If you read the title, I don't know what we're gonna call it yet, but it's gonna have something to the effect of Chippewa preview. You're here for Central Michigan talk. You're not here to hear us talk about our Thursday night plans in a couple weeks or in a couple whatever. You're here to listen to two idiots talk about the Chippewas. So let's get to it. 7-6 last year, 5-3 in the MAC. A bowl appearance that we're not going to talk about, but it was the Chippewas' first bowl appearance since 2021 when they won the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. And that 5-3 mark in the MAC was competitive, giving CMU a chance to qualify for the MAC championship game up until until the end of the season. CMU had at least an outside chance in that Toledo game, in which it got its ass kicked. But um, there's still a competitive, important game playing in that last weekend in November.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's 2025 in a nutshell. And yes, the bowl game The bowl game was awful. I was there. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of blacked out.
Yeah, well,
The beers were tasted pretty good, and
it was the
the beers were
final
tasting.
Detroit bowl game, so I mean, you went out in a blaze of glory with it.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I bought a hat and a T-shirt that from a game that I really wish I had no memories of, but I did get to go with my parents, so you know what? That was a lot of fun. We made it a great time.
Yeah. And just for review purposes, the MAC is a little different this year. Northern Illinois is out. Sacramento State is in.
It
That
is
is all.
And for obviously a long time, the MAC has been able to brag that they don't have any of this bullshit realignment that we see throughout the country. I mean, Sacramento State, Sacramento, California, playing in the Mid-American Conference. Seriously, like what are we doing here?
And they're
It's the
playing
same. It's the same
and they're
thing
playing
as
UMass this year.
it's the same thing as uh, California and Stanford being in the Atlantic Coast Conference. You guys are on the Pacific Ocean. Stay over there. Go be in the Pacific 12 Conference. Leave the Atlantic
Hey,
Coast Conference alone.
just remember the Pac-12's back. Thank God.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Sure it is. Yeah, anyway, 2026 for CMU it's the second year for head coach Matt Drinkall and his staff. That first year, again, I think I harken back to conversations you and I had off air, Hunter. Say that 3 times fast.
Mm-hmm.
This felt like a success for CMU in 2025 to go 7-6, given how pedestrian the Chippewas had been coming into this year in 22 and 23 and really even 24.
Yeah, I mean the Jim McElwain era, while there were bright spots, it kind of ended with a dud, so to speak. And they didn't fire Mac, but they kind of told him, "Hey, man, it's not working out. Can you take on this bullshit made up assistant AD role or assistant to the AD role and go back to Montana?" And
Yeah,
give Mac credit. He was willing to accept that his coaching career is probably over. I mean, this new age of college football, we've seen a lot of the older coaches go. I mean, one of Mac's old bosses, Nick Saban, he saw the writing on the wall and decided to retire as well. So, I mean, bringing Drinkle in from Army, I didn't know much about him, but after seeing what I saw last year and doing what they did with the quarterback rotation thing, it was an impressive year to say the least in year one.
absolutely. We'll get into quarterbacks here momentarily, but we honestly, I don't think we know much about Matt Drinkall yet. Honestly, I mean, yes, we had a whole football season to get to know him, and I mean, you could hear, in various interviews, shout out Adam Jackson, shout out the other folks at CMU Athletics, that they did a pretty good job of trying to get to know Drinkall and kind of share his personality, and I guess lead him to share his personality. But I mean, it'd be great to sit down and get to know him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's something I mean, that was the whole point of our of the beginning of our site. So maybe we can finally make that happen this year. let's run through some of the key numbers really quick. 13 returning starters for the Chippewas, 10 of on offense. Only 13 defensive starters coming back. 58 players in total from 2025, which is big in this, and like you said, in the transfer portal era. 37 or more newcomers entering preseason camp, and admittedly, this is something that I'm not sure about in terms of if I like it or not. More than half the roster is new this year. So the kind of the contrast is last year veteran defense and a conservative offense for CMU. This year you're looking at a little bit more experience on the offensive side of the ball and a little bit of a retooled defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, I'm sure it's been a learning curve for the guys that have came in, but I'm sure most of them, I would hope, have been here since January or whenever they get here. I don't know how it all works anymore. I just know most newcomers, they usually transfer in the spring, so they're here for spring ball, and then you go through summer workouts, and now you're in fall camp, and hopefully at this point they're gelling and they're meshing well with the guys coming back. Which again, bringing back that many guys from last year's team is huge in this era. It shows that those guys have a lot of trust in this staff to get them where they want to be in their football careers and vice versa. I mean, I know I speak for most, I'm sure I speak for most coaches. You want the job, I guess, the biggest job possible. If CMU is that, perfect. And I think a lot of the staff, they've bought into Central Michigan, and a lot of the guys, they've instilled that into a lot of the guys, and a lot of those guys bought in last year, and they're like, well, I want to be a part of that again this following year, and hopefully the next year it's the same story. Like we bring back 50 plus guys next year.
Yes, I think that just depends on the success. I mean, obviously there are going to be some guys that, they get an opportunity of a lifetime, and you've got to take it. I get it,
Yeah.
but you're right in the sense that this staff isn't so much concerned about wins and losses. Yeah, I mean that's part of the job, but there's still a um, there's still something about wanting to teach and wanting to help these college guys become, the quite literally the best version of themselves. And
Mm.
I mean, if to bring that many guys back and to keep your coaching staff as intact as it is, um, I got a lot of respect for that. Um, Thinking schematically, the offense, Coach Drinkall said it coming into this year in his early camp uh, days, I guess, um, that the offense was too conservative. We talked about it quite a bit that they could run the ball like one of the top teams in the conference until they couldn't. And when that got stopped, the
You
passing
just
game
you
was
just
just not there.
chew clock. You just chew clock and hope you were ahead. I
Right.
mean,
And that it worked until it didn't. And when it stopped
yeah,
working, it became a problem.
yeah,
So to combat that this year, I think it goes back to that learning curve Hunter talked about, is that Drinkell said he wants to open it up. He wants to utilize some of that talent on the outside and open up the passing game a little bit. Do you think, and we're going to get into the passers here in just a moment, but Hunter, do you think that the offense can take a significant step forward while the defense tries to tries to retool itself and kind of maintain order on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I would think year two in an offensive system, it's usually supposed to go better than year one. And I would imagine having, a lot of guys back. And I know you talked about the O line a little bit, not on air, but off air. You talked about the O line having a lot of continuity or having a lot of guys back, or the O line's supposedly going to be a very strong unit. And I mean, in a Drinkall coach team, that I'm not surprised. I mean, again, we talk about where he came from all the time. He came from Army, and if you know Army, running the ball is the name of the game in Army.
Well,
So yeah,
sorry.
you go ahead.
Wasn't he an offensive line coach before he was the offensive coordinator?
I believe he was. So
There you go.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's year two of an offensive system. I mean, I know the quarterback thing it's gonna kind of play out like last year, and this isn't really a dig on Joe Labus. I think Joe Labus he fit in the system until he didn't, and there were some things that exposed that, and like there were times where Labus was kind of running for his life, and Labus isn't a runner. If you've seen him play, he's more of a sit in the pocket, step forward, and throw, or whatever. And but then you got your other QBs, Glasser and Angel, who run the ball and are used to running the ball and are used to being on their legs. So I think year two, I think it's going to be better. And the defense, if they play as good as they did last year, I think this team will take a leap forward, and I would imagine if they do that, we would see them in Detroit for the MAC title game.
I would think the same thing. In that, yeah, that the hard part is the secondary is depleted. The defensive
Yeah.
line is a little bit questionable. Michael Heldman being one of
Sounds
those
like the
key
Detroit
dudes.
Lions.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It sounds like it sounds like our lovable Lions. But you talk about quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It sounds like, because last year it was like you said, Joe Labus, Angel Flores, and Jaden Glasser kind of well, initially it was just Labus and Flores kind of running this
Well, and then
2006.
Joe was the only one able to stay healthy too.
Right, I was saying it's like they were kind of running this 2006 Florida Gator offense where Joe Labus was playing as Chris Leak and just slinging the ball over the yard, and then Flores would come in and be a little bit of a smaller muscle mass Tim Tebow and run on third down. That got a little bit predictable, so they started bringing Flores in a little bit earlier or doing some different things with him. And then Glasser's back there. He's like, hey, man, I can do both of these things. And then Flores gets hurt. Labus ends up getting hurt. So now Glasser is in here. He's like, all right, I'm ready to go. And the I don't think the quarterbacks were really ever a problem, but they didn't help the situation offensively. If that makes sense, like there just seemed to be a couple
Yeah.
issues here and there.
Yeah, the only, like you talked about a little bit, once they were shut down, that team was kind of done. I mean, if the offense couldn't do anything, they had no chance. But if the offense was clicking, and we saw it a couple times last year, like against UMass. I mean, I know it's UMass, and you know UMass is not good, but I mean,
No,
UMass.
UMass's ass, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, what was UMass up 14-7, however? Didn't they take the lead at one point and you're
I
like, "Oh
think
geez, this would be a really bad loss." But then they off the defense of course locked in, and then the offense was clicking like really
yeah,
well. Like
I
that might
I'm
have
I'm gonna level with you. I don't remember much of that game because I probably had too many beers.
I think you were fine comparatively
Compared to
speaking.
the Eastern game that I'm actually watching
Yeah.
back right now, that was bad. That was bad. We don't need to talk about that. But this
Oh,
year, this year, it sounds like that there's going to be three quarterbacks yet again with Flores, Glasser, and Marcus Beeman, who has more or less just kind of come out of nowhere. Um, I mean, all of these dudes do something a little bit differently. They do it all pretty well, but maybe not necessarily excelling at one particular thing
right.
that makes them stand out. I just when you Hunter look at the this quarterback situation, is it very similar to last year, or is there going to be something a little bit different? Do you think?
I mean, for right now, I think it's similar to last year, unless somebody plays out of this world against. I really feel like the New Mexico, the Colgate games are going to be extended. Like, I guess they're going to be NFL preseason games, and I'm not trying to say like no, they need to win those games. We would hope they would win those games, but I just think that's going to be an extended quarterback competition, and the coaches are going to use those first two games to kind of really see what works, what doesn't, who works better in this, who works better in that. Like if Angel Flores is good in the 2-minute drill, then I would say you probably want him in the game a lot more because he's clutch. I mean, but if Jaden Glasser comes in and does something differently and does it well, then I guess you got to take a look at Jaden Glasser. I think the Wyoming game, you want to have a starter, and you want to have a starter, and you want to have someone play the whole game, because I don't think you can do the 2006 Florida thing. I know Florida did win a national title doing it, but I just don't see how you can do that for two full seasons.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm right there with you. I think you do need to have a dedicated starter for the Wyoming game. I think the New Mexico game, you just kind of have to ride with the hot hand. That's the only,
Yeah.
I guess, challenge I would have on that is that you really need to win that New Mexico game. It's just like the San Jose State game last year. If you win it, it really it gives you some additional momentum that you might have not had otherwise. The
And
Colgate game,
you could use the Miami game as another so-called preseason game.
exactly, but and I do want to get into that in just a little bit with the month of September, kind of how the schedule is going to play out. But you're right. You kind of use use the Colgate game as give everybody some some shared reps. If you notice that one quarterback is doing particularly well, then stay with it. I mean, stay with it until it's evident that you need to make a change. but then do you here? That's the weird juxtaposition: is how do you keep your other quarterbacks hot if you're not going to play them? So in case you do need them, or whether it's, let's say for example, Flores is named the starter, and I guess the sole starter, and
Mhm.
he starts struggling, or God forbid he gets hurt again, then what?
Right.
You're going to bring in a quarterback who hasn't played in 4 or 5 games in either Glasser or Beeman, and you're like, go do the thing that we want you to do, but we're not giving you the opportunity to do it. Except I don't know, that like that's such a hard that's such a hard coaching position to be in.
Yeah, it's hard to predict what the plan is, and I trust whatever the coaches are planning to do. Um, I mean, hell, they went 7-6 last year doing it. So I mean, maybe if the offense again, if they're opening up the offense and do the same thing as last year, they open up the offense. If it flourishes a little bit better this year, maybe they win 9 games. We don't know. I mean, there's a lot of what ifs. This is what this is what it's all about on August 24th. This is the night we're recording. Is there's just a lot of possibilities we're talking about here.
Oh yeah, nothing is set in stone. I mean, there are a lot of questions, but they're good questions. It's not, oh man, how yeah, can this team win? Can it? No, they've established very easily last year that they can win football games. They can win tight games. They can win in a shootout. They can win these rock'em sock'em slug 'em out games. But a good question is, you have an embarrassment of riches at quarterback. Who are you gonna have call the signals on game one? And not even game one. It's game one of the MAC schedule. That's what I care about.
Yeah, I mean, the non-conference games are important,
They are. They
but
absolutely are.
in this day and age, Central Michigan's not making the playoff. I mean, let's just be frank about it. ESPN does not want a MAC team in the playoff. ESPN didn't even want James Madison and Tulane last year. And I think the day of seeing the G5 teams in the playoff are done. So, but regardless, the non-conference games are important, but the MAC games, in the grand scheme of things, are more important. The MAC games, you win a MAC title, you go to a big time bowl game, not obviously not a New Year's Six, but go to a bowl game, get on, national TV, get your brand out there. Win a bowl game this year. I mean, making one last year was huge in itself, but how about this year? You take a step forward, you win one for the first time since the Sun Bowl, which I mean, the last bowl one wasn't even on ESPN; it was on CBS, that was huge.
Yeah, I mean that was cool in of itself. I mean, and then obviously that was never supposed to be how it played out. That originally that bowl game was supposed to be streamed on Barstool Sports,
Oh
but it
yeah,
got
that's right.
canceled because Boise State couldn't make it, and then they had all kinds of other issues in Arizona. So CMU said, "Hey, we'll go play in the Sun Bowl." I don't remember who dropped out. That part, it's immaterial, but um, yeah, I mean, coming back to quarterbacks, look, there was a scrimmage last week. Everyone did pretty well with it.
You were
It,
in
it
Mount Pleasant, but we did not go to the scrimmage. Our apologies.
correct. Yeah, we didn't. No, we had some gambling to do, so we went to Soaring Eagle instead.
Oh, we
Um,
played. Don't forget, we played golf too. So I mean, it was.
well, golf was done long before the scrimmage. The gates were even open.
That's true.
Um, But coming back, officially coming back to quarterbacks, if if we have to name a starter right now, sitting here right now on August the 24th, who is it? And is there a legitimate way that CMU could have this multi-quarterback system yet again?
I mean,
I'm saying yes. I'm saying
I,
you start Angel Flores. I'm
yep.
saying you start Angel Flores game 1. He's the guy. He is. I mean, he was your guy last year, aside next to Joe Lavis. You let him air it out. You let him run the ball, test out the knee, what have you, and then you bring in Glasser and Beeman. I think because these guys are different, it's a different setup than how it was last year. I think it's doable to have multiple quarterbacks again this year. I don't necessarily love it, but I also don't hate it as long as it works. And if it consistently is shown that it's not working, then you need to make a decision, and you need to make it quickly. Of okay, it should already be in your back pocket. Okay, we're gonna try we're gonna try this rotation. But if it falls apart and we suck offensively, who is our guy? We need to know that. You have to have that in your pocket. Even if you get through the New Mexico game, you get through the Colgate game, you get through those two, get to Wyoming, you should know in your back of your mind, this is who we want calling signals
Right.
consistently.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think I'd say Flores is the one right now. I'd probably just, for experience purposes, I mean, Glasser and Beeman. I mean, Beeman did play last year. I mean, let's not. I mean, Beeman did play the 4 games he was allotted to before he was he earned his red shirt. Um, actually, he wasn't. He did play in the bowl game briefly. But
But he
so I
didn't
mean,
show enough on tape to.
right? You know,
They kept him pretty reserved, right?
yeah. I mean, I got his stats. I mean, pulled up right here. And completed 2 of 4 passes for 35 yards. Rushed for 88 yards on 33 carries, 1 touchdown. Threw a touchdown, ran a touchdown. So, there were some flashes, it looks like. I mean, just based on the stats I'm seeing. He threw a 33-yard touchdown pass to Tyson Davis on his first career throw with Central. So there's flashes with Beeman. So, but I think just right now with I mean, we saw Glasser a little bit more last year, so I just put him ahead at number 2, and then Beeman's number 3. I mean, it could change. There's still a week and a half to go, and almost a little over a week, whatever. There's still a while before they fly to New Mexico for the season opener, so things could change in the next couple weeks, and I'm sure they're going to do another scrimmage or two, closed, obviously, but they're going to do a scrimmage or two and see what they have and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I mean, these couple weeks of practice are going to be imperative for everyone involved, all 3 of these guys, and honestly, obviously, the rest of the team. I know it's cliche, be like, oh yeah, the practice is important for everyone, but it's going to be, again, it's going to be imperative for one of these guys to kind of emerge as the favorite for that scenario of, oh crap, we're falling apart. How can we fix it? So we talk a lot about passing. Talk a lot about quarterbacks. CMU's got a running back coming back in Brock Townsend that very nearly had a breakout year last year. I argue that he probably did. But if
I mean,
we're arguing that he probably did, he probably
everybody
did.
kind of knows who he is now.
He's
So
a threat. I mean, he's a threat in the passing game and in the running game. I
yeah,
mean, 418 rushing yards last year, averaging 5.1 yards per carry, 145 receiving yards
yeah.
out of the backfield. That's pretty impressive. So 582 all-purpose, 8 total touchdowns split between receiving and rushing. I mean, that's
And a
that's
really
banger,
good
dude.
one-handed grab against Eastern.
Yeah, that if memory serves me right. No, it didn't happen in front of me. I was sitting in the student section. But I did end up sitting in that end zone.
Yeah,
But Townsend led CMU in total touchdowns last year, which is a very weird thing to say that he had 8 of them. And that was the leader. That's bizarre. But 4 receiving touchdowns were second most ever by a CMU running back in one season.
yeah.
He's a West Michigan kid. I mean, he knows this state. He grew up here. Actually, grew up very close to where, I live in the Grand Rapids area. But leadership, again, it's one of those cliche things. We won't touch on it too much, but the experience that he has, that leadership kind of addition to his intangibility or his intangibles on the field. Real quick breeze through this, but do you think Townsend could become one of the MAC's best all-around running backs in 2026? I say yes.
I agree. I do think there's going to be a bigger spotlight on him, like in terms of the other teams in the league. Or it's going to be like NCAA football. He's one of the impact players you see on the loading screen. Like,
I love
so,
that.
I'm sure the defensive coordinators in the league are like, hey, watch out for number 2 on CMU. Like, he was solid last year. Was he all MAC last year? I
I
honestly,
I can't remember in 22.
I got his bio. I'll pull up his bio real quick. Um, he was not, but
He easily
he
could
was.
have been though.
He very well could have been, but I know the top half was pretty strong. So, but again, I'm sure there's gonna be a spotlight on him, and he's gonna have to work for every yard, both receiving and rushing.
Absolutely. The other thing is though, it's kind of, again, this a lot of this is shaping up to be kind of how it was last year. The running back room is pretty deep for the Chippewas this year. It's not just, oh, we're just gonna hand the ball off to Townsend every time, or Flores is gonna run it every time, or throw it, or whatever. Von Blue has emerged as one of the top guys to even become the starting running back. He might be the feature back in a kind of in a way in a kind of running back by committee sort of setup. I mean,
It'll
the
be like the
transfer,
quarterback room. It's
yeah, Von Blue transfer from Liberty, 557 career rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, 188 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. He's on the Doak Walker Award watch list, which I don't necessarily put much stock in preseason watch lists because
yeah.
there's so many guys, but he's the only guy on this roster that is on the Doak Walker Award list. So, that is something to think about.
And he's from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
Yes, the other Mount Pleasant. I think Jax called him or called it.
Yeah. They did a really good segment on that.
Yeah.
Recently.
Yeah, and in a little bit of reporting I've done, the coaches say that Blue is one of the more explosive backs in the room. So you kind of have that steadfast, 3 to 4 yards of carry guy in Townsend who can open it up too. I mean, the dude's fast and he's got great hands versus Blue, who looks like he can gain yards very easily and has a ton of speed.
Absolutely.
And there's some other guys, Jaden Cleverow and Nick Woodford, a couple of transfers coming in. Again, some of those, I think 40 something transfers. I don't actually know how many transfers CMU has this year, but is this? I know we've already kind of mentioned it, but it is kind of like the quarterback room, and that it's a running back by committee kind of situation, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean it's running back by committee. It's a quarterback cut by committee, and I mean, so I mean, two of the most two very important positions on the offense are going to be committee, and so it's going to be interesting to see how they mix things up and how they, you know, maybe one quarterback matches with a running back, so to speak, and they kind of go from there. I don't know. But there's going to be situations, I'm sure, where they're going to have Townsend out on like second and 6, 2nd and 5, or whatever, and he's going to catch a pass out of the backfield. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, but it's cool. It's really cool to see that they have this many, I guess, weapons, so to speak, and they're gonna use all of them. It sounds like.
Right. Yeah. It's not just we have all these weapons and we're just going to kind of tap into it, just scratch the surface a little bit. Langston Lewis is another guy at wide receiver, 43 catches last year, 596 yardage, 3 touchdowns, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, that's again, he's not getting a ton of action on the field. So I mean, he's one of those guys. A lot of all MAC recognition in the preseason for Lewis. And Lindy's called him the MAC's best hands.
Yeah.
So it's not an award, but it's cool. I see, like I said, I see a lot of this preseason stuff as it matters. Anyway,
It's fun to write about it. That's about it.
right, exactly. It's fun for the publication. It's fun for the guys, and you know what? That's all that matters. That's all that matters. We talked about it a little bit. The offensive line. We're just gonna jump all around here. There's significant experience up front. Jacob Booth, who also received some All MAC recognition from several outlets, and I'm gonna butcher some of these names. I'm sorry, fellas. Martin Covisoto, Brady Plauka, Jacob Russell, Desan Smith, John Iannuzzi, and Matthew Neff are those guys up front that, I mean, they paved the way for CMU to average 163.5 yards rushing per game last season, which that's a pretty damn good number.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean the O line, if they take a step forward this year, and I would bet some money they do, because I mean Drinkall's background is O line, so I would venture to guess the O line is going to take a huge step forward, and it's probably gonna win CMU a lot of games this year, and it's kind of a cliche thing to say. I mean, with the but again, those guys don't get enough recognition as is, and you might say, oh, the quarterback play won the game, or the running back, play, the wide receiver, like the skill guys, like the O line's gonna win games this year.
Yes, it is, and I think you saw that there was an attempt, I guess. There were it was in those close games like the Western game. Trying to remember some of these other ones, or even the San Jose State game. I mean,
Yeah.
that was the offense just chewing clock. You just keep running the ball, chew clock at the end of the game, and the defense, of course, comes up big at the end there.
Right.
But you're right. I mean, I think you'll see a big step in the O line's progression of talent, and you're right that they're gonna win some games, which will be very much mid-American conference football. Of we're we're just gonna beat you. We're just gonna keep running the ball, and we're just gonna keep punching until we win, and that's until you cannot play any more football.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of good stuff up front for the Chippewas this year. The defense, though, we've touched on it already. That is a massive question mark. A lot of retooling on the defensive side of the ball. What do you think is the biggest concern for CMU on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, the secondary I know you've talked about is very depleted. And we talked about the Lions having kind of the same issue. And you saw it last year with the Lions. The depleted secondary really hurt the Lions last year. And so I think if it's the same thing, if they have a so-called depleted secondary this year, it's not going to go well, and they're going to find themselves in games where it's going to be touchdown for touchdown, which you do not want. You do not want to be in those kind of games, especially if you're a defensive coach. It's not going to bode well. So I think the secondary is a big concern, but I also think the coaching will have them ready by the time MAC play rolls around. They're going to use the first 4 games kind of like, get reps, see who's stronger and packages, and kind of go from there.
What do you think about and this is just dumb me thinking, well, idiot me, right? Two idiots talking. What if what now? Now, bear with me on this. You have a shootout where, let's say, CMU's playing Buffalo, right? And Buffalo scoring just on bombs, like 70, 75-yard touchdowns on like a 2-play drive. And then CMU responds with like a 14-play march down the field in like 8.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that almost kind of behoove you if you're CMU? Because that means you keep your defense off the field and resting. While Buffalo, in this example, is
Gassed.
gassed defensively, and then they go score a touchdown, they're right back on the field.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah,
having a shitty defense is fine if your offense is can do what we're talking about.
True.
having a shitty defense is probably fine if you're CMU at that point, but you have to make sure your offense can actually maintain that.
Yeah, I mean, they don't know that with this offense, and so I think I would imagine.
You probably should have a good defense.
Yeah, we should probably have a good defense, and our best defensive player is not even here anymore. He's playing with the Saints right now. You
Yeah.
know, so
Michael Heldman is killing it with the Saints in preseason.
unless he's granted a temporary injunction and actually wants to come back, then sure. But I'm sorry.
Man, LSU, man, it's just so annoying. And like you had just told me right before we started recording that they got a guy on the basketball team that's doing the same thing. It's just like we'll get into that next week. We don't have time for
Yeah.
it, here because we want to focus on the chips. But yeah, college football is just a fucking mess. But anyway, back to the secondary. Caleb Spann, Elijah Rickard, Elijah Gordon, and Maddox Blackwell. Big guys in terms of defensive production. I mean, you're losing like almost 200 combined tackles in just those four guys. I mean, it's going to be tough to replace all that experience too. I mean, so to replace that kind of experience, to replace that kind of production, I mean, that's something you have to figure out quickly. Same thing, like we talked about the quarterbacks with eh, this the secondary, especially at safety. You need to get that pretty much locked down by the time you break camp and you get to that New Mexico game, because New Mexico is not a slouch. We'll briefly touch on that next week.
Mhm.
The plan is to do a full national preview, but we're still going to touch on the chips because that's what we do. Let's keep on moving here. Let's move into the schedule. Obviously, starting at New Mexico, Colgate, Wyoming, at Miami to end the month of September. Akron at home for homecoming, at Ohio. That team from the Southwest on October the 17th. Another home game against Miami. Eastern Michigan at Ford Field on November 4th. That's a Wednesday. Sacramento State at home, November 11th. And then you close out the season at Buffalo and at Ball State. 5 opponents played in bowl games last year, both of the Miamis, New Mexico, Ohio, and of course, Western Michigan. When I look at the schedule, and we've kind of already talked about it, the first 4 games are what this month of September. That seems to me like it's probably one of the more important stretches of the year. Obviously, the MAC slate is something completely different. That's the second season.
Mhm.
And it starts with homecoming against Akron, a team Central should have beat last year, but it did not. You look at these 4 games, and again, we've kind of talked about it, that there's going to be a lot of a feeling out process for both sides of the ball at very important positions at both sides of the ball. But is there, we talk about momentum and starting the season strong. Is there a mark, in your opinion, that CMU needs to be at after the month of September to convince you that they have a shot at winning the MAC? Or at least contending. We don't need to worry about winning. Maybe even just getting to Detroit.
Yeah. I mean, your ceiling for non-con is probably 3-1. your floor is 2-2. I would expect you win both home games. Uh, I mean, one is an FCS opponent, but you don't take them lightly. And then you got another in. You got a really good Wyoming team coming to Mount Pleasant. Granted, they don't have Josh Allen this time, so that's positive. But yeah, floor would be 2-2, ceiling would be 3-1. Like sneaking, getting out of New Mexico with a win would be huge, but long plane ride, long trip. It's not easy. Uh, in New
The time
Mexico,
change.
yeah, the time change. New Mexico's pretty solid, I would think. They were pretty solid last year. So, but Miami, and then unless Mario Cristobal goes full idiot again with his timeouts, I think, or just full idiot in general, which he's known to do sometimes.
I was gonna say
Uh,
that there's no guarantee that he won't.
but yeah, Miami's you're gonna get your money and get out of there, kind of like Michigan last year.
Right. Well, hopefully you can score at least maybe score a touchdown out of that. That would be kind of fun. But I mean, Miami's not going to have Carson back. They've got questions at quarterback. I mean, yes, that is a team that made the national championship game last year, but it's kind of the uniforms. It seems like a lot of guys have left, um, but they've also kind of reloaded too because it's Miami, it's the U. I mean, of course they did.
Yeah,
Just stay away from the seventh floor.
yeah, exactly.
Real quick, and I want to touch on it because if it's a Central podcast, we're talking Central for the season. You got to talk about Western. This, I think, is one of the more exciting Western games in recent memory, simply because it's on a Saturday for the first time in 8 years at home. A first time on a
Yeah,
Saturday in Mount Pleasant since 2018. That putrid 1-11 season. Last year's game, of course, was a heartbreaker. That was just an awful, awful day.
right.
Yeah, just terrible. All kinds of bad stuff. Wait, didn't they played it? Yeah, I went to the hospital the next day.
Hmm.
Yeah, I went to the ER the next day. Not because of that game. It made me so sick to my stomach that I just had to go in.
Yeah,
If CMU is 5-2 or maybe even 6-1 going into that game, outside of the Michigan State game in 2014 or maybe even the Oklahoma State game, I think 2015. Do we think that this could be one of the biggest games at Kelly Shorts in some time?
yeah. I mean, yeah, because it's not on a weeknight. Yes, I do. I think you're not gonna get the exposure on TV you would normally get on a weeknight, but it's gonna make more people want to come to the game. So I think it's a win. And credit both administrations, which I don't like crediting administration for a lot of things. But they did make an effort to put this game back on Saturday, and they lobbied the MAC, and they were like, "Hey, this game needs to be on a Saturday." I know it's tough dealing with the crowd and dealing with the students partying. I understand that, but both police departments were on board, so both cities were on board with it. So credit to those who made an effort to get this game back on Saturday. And I think we saw the crowd in Kalamazoo last year was pretty solid. And granted, Western's been really strong the last few years, and they've done a great job at. I got to credit Western, but they've done a great job at promoting their athletic department as a whole. And so anyway, I think Central getting more people in the seats at Kelly Shorts for this game will be huge. Yeah, you won't get the TV exposure you might want, but it'll cancel out because you're gonna hopefully sell a lot of tickets, especially if both teams are good. I mean, we know Western was picked to finish first, so
Exactly, and I would hope that both teams are good.
yeah,
Of course, you hope that you want your rivalry games to not be two idiots fighting, or a juggernaut like in 2016, Western being a juggernaut and almost completing an undefeated season and beating Wisconsin. Well, ended up, of course, losing to Wisconsin in the Cotton Bowl. But I mean, that game against Central, I mean, Western absolutely slapped Central Michigan around. Anyway, if both teams are good, you might want to make sure you get tickets in advance, because that game very well could sell out. I mean, it's on a Saturday in Mount Pleasant. You're going to get a ton of Central fans there anyway. So you're
I would
I have
also
reason to believe that it would sell out.
if Central's good, also the community is going to show out too. The community of
Correct.
Mount Pleasant will show out, and
Yeah.
Western I know travels really well, so
Well, that's
yeah,
what's cool, especially in this rivalry. Both fan bases travel really well. I mean, obviously they're going to go see each other. They're going to go. People are going to go to this game regardless. I mean, this is always one of the better attended games on a Saturday in a long. Whenever it's on a Saturday, it's very well attended. Even
yeah,
when Sun terrible in 2018, I remember I was at that game. I dragged my brother and my good buddy Eric to that game. Eric was a Western student at that point, and I dragged him to that game. It was hailing, it was cold, it was awful, miserable weather, but my God, did we stick it out until the end?
yeah, yeah. So no, I think yeah, it's going to be a huge day, and hopefully there's not any major issues where they're like, oh, maybe it was a bad idea to have this game on Saturday. But I
Yeah,
think
I hope that we can keep it on a Saturday for um, a long while, because I mean this is what college football is supposed to be. It's supposed to be on a Saturday.
right.
I know we talked about it last year at this game. A little bit of Flying C trivia for you. Do you remember what the trophy was originally going to be instead of the victory cannon?
I do not.
No, nothing.
I got nothing.
It was the golden keg.
And that would I like the cannon. Don't get me wrong, but the keg would have gone pretty hard.
And now, if I'm not mistaken, this is some obscure shit here, and I apologize ahead of time. If I'm not mistaken,
Oh, the
the
administration shut that down, didn't they?
no no
Because
no 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 no. Hold on. If I'm not mistaken, the golden keg does exist, but it's obviously in a different manner.
yeah.
Again, I think I need to confirm this, but Central
Well, then
Michigan Club Rugby
Yeah,
and Ferris State Club Rugby play for the Golden Keg. I'm pretty
interesting.
sure.
Ferris State, really? Well,
Isn't that wild?
I guess with the close proximity, and I mean, hell, Central stole Ferris's basketball coach. I mean,
Right.
kidding, of course, but they didn't really steal him. But I mean, the Central Ferris connection, I guess, is it exists. I mean, so I guess it kind of makes sense to me. But I'm kind of shocked Western must not have club rugby or whatever. Or, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
I
know. I
mean,
don't know if they do or
I would
not,
say
but
like you could do it for hockey, but Central doesn't have hockey, of course, and I feel like Western would just hold on to it for a really long time with how good at hockey they are. So,
yeah,
oh,
true. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would really hope that Central kind of stays away from that because that's gonna get that would be ugly for the first couple years.
that'd be ugly for a long time, actually.
I say a couple years. I'm talking like 5 to 10.
Yeah, I mean Western's building a whole ass arena for it, so brand new
True.
arena. So
True. All right, back to football. Um, Real quick, Matt Drinkall. We kind of already touched on it a little bit, but his second year leading the Chippewas, again, a very solid 7-6, 5-3 in the MAC. Had a chance at well, at least contending. They contended to be in Detroit on that first weekend in December, and ended up in Detroit for the bowl game and got destroyed by Northwestern. There's
yeah,
talk that Drinkle wants to open up the offense after a very conservative emphasis and mindset last year. And there's talk and there's also talk about owning the ugly. That's kind of the mantra for CMU this year, meaning winning the little things like turnovers, penalties, third downs, the red zone, special teams, situational football. Last year kind of set that foundation of a Matt Drinkle coached team. Yes,
right.
I know that there are a lot of guys kind of still lingering from the McElwain era. Transfer portal, kind of comes in to play here. But this is Drinkle's now had a full off season with these guys. He's had a full season over a full year to kind of assimilate himself with the Mount Pleasant culture and what culture he wants to establish at CMU. What do we think that this program is supposed to look like? And is CMU trending that way going into 2026?
Uh, simply, I mean, for me, I mean, simply put, they're I want to say trending in the right direction. I mean, a bowl game in year one under a new regime, so to speak, is a huge step after again the way the Jim McElwain era ended. Um, so I mean, this year I've talked about it multiple times. You gotta do the same thing. Maybe make the MAC title game again. Big maybe. It's preseason. Uh, maybe make MAC title game. Maybe not win it. I mean, it'd be cool to win it, but let's be real. It's gonna be an uphill battle, I would think, and then get to a bowl game and then win the bowl game. You know, regardless of what happens, you make the MAC title game or not, win the bowl game. That's another huge step forward. And then hopefully by next year, you're winning a MAC title and, making another bowl game and winning another bowl game. And then there's consistency and then there's all that kind of stuff, like where the brand is being exposed and shown to more people, and Kelly Short Stadium is going to be sold out every weekend game. Probably not weeknight game, but there will still be solid crowds on weeknights. You're not going to see the empty stadiums your most schools are used to seeing unless you're in like the top three of the MAC.
Right, but even still, I mean, Western was playing for the chance to go to the MAC championship, and I mean there were not that many people there.
Right.
I mean, and that's not a slam on Waldo Stadium. That's not a slam on Western. As much as I love talking shit about
No,
Western Michigan,
no, it's not a slam
that
on
happens
anyone.
throughout that happens throughout the MAC. I mean that's
It's
all it
tough.
is.
Well, it's just tough to get people when you got, you know, you're unless you're, I guess, an alum living in the city you went to college in, which, I mean, in some of those cities it's possible. I mean, i.e., Michigan, Ypsilanti, and or for Michigan, like Ypsilanti, Mount Pleasant, and Kalamazoo. You got folks that went to school. I mean, it's easy in Eastern, but Eastern football has been just so bad for years before Chris Creighton took over that the interest level has never existed with Eastern.
Right.
So
I just a quick note on Eastern because I'm watching back the Central Eastern game from last year. I really hope Creighton kept the beard. That thing looked so good.
we'll
I
see.
hope he kept the
We'll see
white beard.
Saturday.
Huh?
We'll see Saturday. I mean, I will. I'll be watching, but
Yeah. Well, I'll watch a little bit. I mean,
I know you'll
I'm
be
not driving.
well. You'll be busy, and I know you spend time with your woman and enjoy the night. But yeah,
I
no,
mean, Lindsay's driving. I mean, she's already told me that she's driving. So
I
I mean,
shout out to her then.
yeah, I'll probably have a couple
But
brewskis
do
in my
not
system.
make her watch Sacramento State football, man. But
Why the
anyway,
hell not?
because that's just
Let
gross, and we didn't even want them in the we don't even want them in the MAC. Just remember.
True. True. All right. Well, yeah, and I'm with you with in terms of that next step for Drinkle in this program is you. I mean, it's I know it's cliche to say, oh, we want to be the most feared team in the MAC. Sure, everyone wants that, but it's going to change every year. It seems like just with the amount of turnover on every roster. And there's really no program building anymore in these G5 conferences because someone has a breakout year, they're going to Michigan State, they're going to go to some Michigan, they're going to go to some Power 5 school
Yeah, they're going to
or Power
power.
4, sorry.
And it's the same thing with coaches too. I mean, loyalty is a little. There is loyalty, but there's not a lot of loyalty in this day and age. And I
Loyalty
mean,
is loyalty is appreciated and it's not it, it's not expected.
right?
I mean, well, look at Tony Anise at Ferris State. I mean, that gentleman is not going anywhere. He loves Ferris State. He's been there for so long. He has built a program at Ferris State.
Yeah,
And yeah, some guys transfer out. Look at Trinidad Chambliss, who we'll talk about next week, I'm
yeah.
sure at length. But there is still some, I guess, some hope for, um, you know, college sports and
Well, like yeah,
small schools building loyalty.
there is guys like Trinidad who you got your bachelor's from Ferris, then I have no problem with you transferring. Like you got your degree at Ferris, then of course go somewhere else. I mean, your stock went up obviously at Ferris, I guess. Um, so and he was being recruited by bigger, I mean, SEC teams, and he went to Ole Miss last year and succeeded, and he's, I guess, I would assume he's a Heisman favorite this year. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, I don't really, yeah. But anyway, like again, if you get your degree and you decide to transfer after that, I have no issue with that. I think the NCAA right now has zero power, as we've discussed multiple times. The NCAA is a failing organization, and there needs to be some sort of change, whether it's with our, I guess, politicians, they like to call themselves. There's got to be a change somewhere, but again, we talk about loyalty. I will say, it looks like CMU is one of the schools in smaller schools that have done a really good job at retention. Understandably, if a guy is a breakout player, he's going to go to, like you said, Michigan State, and I would not blame him for that.
No, I don't either. I mean, you got to go where. I mean, now that you can make some money,
Yeah, I mean, if
you
you got to
should.
provide for your family, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no,
Yeah, I get it. I'm.
these
That's
guys
not.
are, a lot of these
They,
players
they
are under a lot of pressure. I
Yeah, I mean,
don't
and
probably.
they have the opportunity. Again, we'll dive more into this next week because we're going to talk about the nonsense with LSU. Uh, but yeah, I mean, if you can keep bringing guys back and want them to play for the Chippewas and want them to continue learning in the program and giving CMU some experience and a chance to win some football games. I mean, that's a pretty even exchange in my opinion.
Right.
All right, three things left, and hopefully we can. I think we can fly by it. Who's your guy? Kind of a playoff of who's your tiger, but there's some little bit of different things. So who's your guy? There's a lot of things. You can keep them short. We don't. It's just a quick thing. Give me your MVP, a breakout player, the most important player, and the biggest surprise. We'll start with those four.
Um, MVP, I guess, would be. I would. I'd like to say. I'd like to say, Townsend, but also I really like to say the O line as a unit. I mean, the O line does what I think they're capable of doing this year. They're the MVPs. I know it's
Right?
kind of weird to say, but
Nope.
uh, yeah, I think the MVPs can be the O line. Uh, I guess your breakout player, I would go with Townsend, I guess. And then most important player, I would say probably Angel Flores, just because of how much he played last year as at quarterback until he got injured. And if he stays healthy and he shows the flashes he showed last year, they're going to be a much better team. And if the O line does what they're supposed to do, then yeah, dude, it's going to be pretty unstoppable. So, I mean, what else do you got? You
But the first half, biggest surprise.
biggest surprise player?
Yeah, or player, unit, whatever.
Uh, I mean, the secondary would be, if the secondary, while we've talked about it being quote unquote depleted, if they are much better than people have talked about, then that'll be a huge surprise. But it's also the biggest concern. So I guess it kind of ties into that. So
Yes. I'll go through my first half. It's very similar. Uh, Angel Flores is my MVP because I think what they're going to end up doing is they're going to rotate quarterbacks at first and then see that Flores, yes, he's the guy. Jaden
Mhm.
Glasser, totally capable. So is Marcus Beeman. All three of the guys are perfectly capable, but I think they're going to see that Flores is the guy. Brock Townsend, breakout player, because he should have been last year. He's going to remove all doubt this year. Most important player, same deals. Angel Flores. And my biggest surprise, just the defense as a whole. I think
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of question marks, and I think those question marks, I hope, are going to be removed in a very positive way for CMU.
Mhm.
So I already know you just I know you just told me one answer, but the second half, biggest concern, most important game, best win, and the worst loss for CMU this year. In terms of games, I mean.
Biggest concern, I guess I'll just say it again, the secondary. I mean, I know you mentioned the defense as a whole, but I just really think the secondary is going to be a huge concern. And I keep talking about the Lions because I'm excited for the Lions to start too. But the Lions, what I saw with the Lions last year, it's kind of similar defensively with CMU. Like question marks at the D line. I mean, and then the secondary is depleted, and it did not go well last year for the Lions. But so yeah, that's the big concern. I'd like to think the most important game is, well, I mean, it's probably, I mean, it would probably, I mean, it's cliche to say it's the Western game, but I think the most important game is probably probably the first one at New Mexico. Like it's a tone setter. I mean, going to San Jose last year and winning was kind of set the tone for how the year was going to go. Like, oh, this team might be pretty good because I fully expected them to go to San Jose State last year and lose by a lot. And because again, long flight, time change, all that crap. It just I didn't think it was meant to be. So I would say New Mexico's very important, and yeah, I yeah, and then the best win. uh, I feel like the beating beating what again. I'm gonna just keep saying Western because it's Western, but beating Western at home would be a big deal. Also, I think beating Ohio at Ohio would be a huge deal because they've struggled at Ohio um, mightily the last few years. Um, so there's that. Um, I could also see. I mean that I could see also being the worst loss is losing at Ohio. I mean, but also it's not easy to win Ohio. So I don't know. It's hard to say. A lot of those games I think are just of equal importance that I don't want to put one ahead of the other. I guess if we really want to say the worst loss, we can say the worst loss will be when they make the trip down to South Florida and play Miami because they're just there to collect the
Yeah.
paycheck. They're there to collect the paycheck. So
Right. Exactly. They're yeah. Well, and again, I mean, you never know. Like 2019, I mean, that was a historically bad Miami team in 2019, but they could come out and actually play some football and I don't know, give Hard Rock a hard time. Uh, the biggest concern, same deal, secondaries, but it's also injuries.
yeah,
I think there's a lot of depth at certain positions, but then there's a lack of depth in others. and it's the lack in depth of others that scares me. And I mean, you saw it with the quarterbacks when Labus and Flores both got hurt. Those guys provided a lot of dimension to the offense.
Mm.
And if you become one-dimensional, you're going to be toast. I don't think that's going to happen, provided no one, if no one gets hurt. But, or if I'm sorry, if someone gets hurt, I still don't think that would happen. But yeah, that's a big concern of mine. Of course, I'm going to say the most important game is Western, or none. I mean, that is the most important game. Outside of that, I think it's the Wyoming game because you're right. Who cares about the game at Hard Rock? You're there to collect a paycheck and maybe try to fight. Let's just be honest. But the
Yeah.
Wyoming game at home against a powerful G5 team, a win like that really gets you excited for the rest of the MAC season, or the rest of the season going into the MAC. You win that game at home, you set the tone for a really good chance to compete for at least a spot in Detroit. Best win, Western. You win the Cannon at home on a Saturday. We're going to the bar. That's gonna be a great time. That's my birthday weekend too. So get me a
It
birthday
is.
win, guys. Give me a birthday win, fellas. I think the worst loss though is Ohio, maybe New Mexico. That New Mexico loss that would be pretty disheartening to start. Yeah, I think that would be tough. That would be a tough start. All right. I know I kind of have this laid out a little bit differently. Just give me, if you could, just straight up, give me a record. Your prediction for CMU's record, provided we're just talking regular season. You can mention a bowl game.
I don't even know if bowl games exist anymore, so it's kind of.
Well, yeah. Just give me the regular season record, and if CMU makes a bowl game, doesn't matter where, just a yes or no, and we don't even care if they win it. So overall record, conference record, bowl game, yes or no?
Yeah. I gotta go 8-4 with a bowl game appearance, I think.
Another caveat: did they make the MAC championship game?
I don't think so this year. I mean,
What's the MAC record?
God. I think it's they're gonna lose 2 MAC games. I think they lose to they're gonna lose at Ohio and they're gonna lose to Miami.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah, I also think 6-2, but
having to play Western and Miami back to back is pretty brutal in
at
my
least they're
mind.
both at home though.
They are both at home, but
But
I
you're
would
right. That's
I'd
awful.
like to think they're gonna win against Western. This is what I'm thinking, and I'll quick. They're gonna win against Western. Be so high on that and be very charged up about that. And Miami, they're gonna kind of, I wouldn't say overlook Miami. I don't like to say that. Miami's gonna catch them off guard, I think, and Miami's very well coached. So, yeah. Anyway,
Fair enough.
um,
I
yeah.
respect that. Yeah, no, I totally get that.
And then Ohio. I mean, we all. I've talked. I mean, we we talk about going to Athens all the time and how hard it is to win there in any sport, really. I mean, we've seen men's basketball go there and really struggle to
I
win.
covered that game in 2020 at the MAC tournament. That was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, and my quick thought: CMU goes 9-3. Yeah, of course, yes to a bowl game, but one of the kind of the higher tier MAC affiliated bowls, whatever's left. 6-2, but they do get to Detroit.
hmm
It's Ohio and Buffalo, but I think the way the conference will shake out is that CMU will kind of sneak in like they did in 2019. Is that CMU will sneak in and go play for a conference title in Detroit.
Yeah.
And that's it for the Chippewas. We have
Yeah.
one more thing. We have to end the show with it. It's my favorite part of the show. Obviously CMU is not playing until week 1. But we do have a lot of really good idiot games during week 0.
Mhm.
And a little bit of scouting, of course.
Yeah, I
So,
guess.
we'll get to that in a minute. We've got 8 games. I don't remember the record from last year. You kicked my ass because I picked with my heart. Obviously, I'm not going to do that this week. I'm probably not going to do that at all. But
Yeah, that's a lie.
I don't know. I already told Lindsay I might not, and she said okay.
Uh-huh.
It is the selection section, my favorite part of the show. So let's breeze through this. It's getting late. I mean, the Cubs game's already in the 7th, and it started when we started. So let's breeze through this. San Jose State, old friend. San Jose State at USC, Saturday 3:00 on NBC. USC a 38.5-point favorite. Who you got?
USC, because if they lose, Lincoln Riley should be fired and sent to Compton.
Side question, does USC cover?
We're doing that? Was it 30.5?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, San Jose State. I think that's a good football team. I mean, we saw
San
them
Jose
last
State's
year.
not a bad team, I don't think. But I mean
Right.
they're gonna go collect their check. They did it with Austin. They went to Austin last year and played Texas. So I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, I think that
they're
game.
doing they do the same thing Central does. I
Yep.
respect it.
Yep. Gotta get your dollars somehow. All right. Hawaii at Stanford, Saturday 7:00 on the ACC network. Stanford 5.5.
Jesus. Oh God, this sucks. Oh, it's at Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's a long flight for Hawaii. I mean, any flight for Hawaii is long. Uh, it's at Stanford. Nobody. Uh, Andrew Luck's the GM, so I mean, I feel like he's done okay.
Yeah,
Stanford.
he's
I don't care, but Stanford.
new coach at Stanford, and
Oh
I think
yeah, they did.
they're gonna have some growing pains because they've been horrible. I mean, that has
Yeah,
been one of the worst teams in the FBS, statistically
yeah.
speaking.
But
I think you're
Hawaii,
going to see a lot of growing pains,
yeah,
and I like Hawaii. I like the Rainbow Warriors in this. I don't know why, and I'm probably going to be 1-1, but I, I I like Hawaii in that game.
yeah, yeah.
All right, here's a fun one. You're going to hate this. Jacksonville State at North Dakota State in the Fargo Dome.
North Dakota State. I'm not
Yeah,
even that. That's North Dakota State. They Fargo Dome. It's gonna be fucking rocking.
and I am right. This is the first FBS game for North Dakota State.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Right.
I believe.
Yeah. North Dakota State's a 7-point favorite, and I'm with
I'm
you. Go
honestly
Bison.
surprised it's only that. I feel like it should be more.
Yeah, I am kind of too. Yeah. But yeah, give me the Bison. All right, here's one that I don't want to pick, but it's on the list, so we're gonna do it. New Mexico State and Florida State. Florida State a 31.5-point favorite at the
Well,
Doak.
like Lincoln Riley, if Florida State loses this game, Mike Norvell should be sent to Guantanamo Bay. So, yeah, I mean, and New Mexico State hasn't been relevant since that midget Avia was playing there. So,
Oh boy. Well, there goes any sort of monetization we could have had. Uh, no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm yeah. And New Mexico State just hasn't. They just haven't done anything. I'm sorry. That's just not a good football team. As much as I would love to see Florida State lose, because trust me, I love it when Florida State loses. There are very few happier days in my life than when that happens, especially to a bad team like this. I don't think it's going to happen. Give me Florida State at home to open the season with a win as I throw up in my mouth. Um, this one's fun. This one's fun. I'm probably going to have a couple beers in me. Yes, I'm going to a wedding during week 0. It's not it's not bad.
shame,
But
respectfully.
Memphis at UNLV Saturday night, 10 o'clock Eastern on Fox at Allegiant Stadium. That's a 5.5-point spread in favor of UNLV.
Yeah, and it's it's a game, that's for sure. Your old friend Dan Mullen, the coach at old UNLV.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, brother. Uh, Memphis was pushing for a playoff spot last year and then kind of got to November and flamed out. So, I don't know. I feel like Memphis has some unfinished business to take care of this year. But it's pretty cliche to say long flight because it is a long flight. It's a 2 hour time difference. I I don't know. It's uh, I'll take Memphis, but I don't feel great about it.
I'm at a toss up too. I don't feel good about either of these teams
I
because
don't trust either team.
I don't either. It's a big game,
Both
seemingly.
these teams are G5 playoff contenders, I guess.
Right,
If we
that's what I'm
really
saying.
think
That's what I'm
about it.
saying is that this is a big game for both teams, obviously to start, but it kind of has that big game feel, being in prime time, being on Fox, and kind of that. It's a really good appetizer to get the season started for smaller teams like this. All week I've been, or all preseason I've been wanting to say UNLV because of Dan Mullen. I know what he's capable of, but I don't think UNLV is very capable of much. I understand that it's favored at home, but that's also at home. So give me Memphis to win that one. Uh, 3 games left. We move over to the ACC, and then it's an actual ACC game. Thank God. NC State at Virginia, Saturday 3:30 p.m. ESPN at Charlottesville. The Hoos are favored by 5.5. A lot of 5.5-point spreads here.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. NC State. It's like they're like a team that you think is going to make this next step. The ACC sucks, really. I mean, outside of Miami, to be honest, this year especially, the ACC is going to be really bad. I mean, I don't. Yeah, it. NC State. I like NC State. I just think they got a little bit more consistency with coaching and all that stuff. I don't know. It's I again kind of another toss up because it's two bum ass ACC teams. I mean, NC State could mess around and contend for a playoff spot, I guess, if they really wanted to. Um, the schedule is definitely favorable. I'm looking at it right now. They don't play
I don't care
Miami.
about the schedule. I don't care about the schedule. I care about week 0.
Yeah, they don't play Miami, so give me NC State because they could sneak into the playoff.
Let's see. This is a perfect game to start the season for a team like Virginia that has historically struggled. I think back to that game against Florida State where Virginia won it in overtime, and the field storming should have not happened the way it did, but I think back to it. I like Virginia. Give me the Hoos. I like it. I like it. I don't know why, but I like it. Now here's our scouting game. Sacramento State at Eastern Michigan. This is two idiots fighting. This game is honestly it's disgusting. And the fact that it's a conference game makes it all the funnier. But of course, we actually see these teams back to back weeks. Obviously, Eastern at Ford Field on November 4th, and Sacramento State at home on November 11th. So, Eastern Michigan favored by 9.5 Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. ESPN Plus at Ryerson Stadium in Ypsi. Who do you got? I
Eastern
think I
because
know.
why is Sacramento State here?
Exactly. That's where I'm at. I don't like Sacramento State being in this conference, and I'm going to root against it. The MAC, like I said at the top, is that MAC has been a pillar of consistency and a pillar of we're not going to conform to the nonsense, but they did, and I disagree with it. So out of spite, give me Eastern Michigan.
Yeah.
In our final game, I already know who you're going to say for this one, but it's the Ireland game, the table setter for college football in 2026. It's the first game on a Saturday. It's, I think I don't think it's the first FBS game though.
No, it is.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. All right. First FBS game, Saturday, noon, ESPN, Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. TCU, North Carolina. TCU took Carolina to the absolute woodshed and did a lot of funny things to North Carolina last year. Who you got, frogs or heels?
ECU because I don't like North Carolina. I'll just say that I don't like North Carolina.
Yeah, same.
I have more thoughts, but I'm not gonna say them because I don't. I yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't stand North Carolina. I don't like what they're all about. I don't
Enjoy your
like
trip, you
the
old fucking bastard. Sorry.
ah ah
Uh,
ah. Sorry. Uh, Yeah, I don't like anything North Carolina's about. It seems like a very gross organization that they've got going on over there. So give me the Horned Frogs again out of spite.
By a lot. Again.
By a lot. And I hope that it's kind of an ass kicking.
I
And then it's a long flight.
I hope Sonny runs up the score like he did last year.
I hope it's a really long flight for North Carolina where they're just disappointed in themselves and they're really sad when they go home. That's going to do it for us, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking with us. Remember to read more about the Chippewas in the Chippewa Corner. And a new thing that we have already started that you can take a look at. Take a look back at CMU football history by reading the Maroon and Gold Vault on doublecsports.weebly.com. He's Hunter. I'm Flying C. Thanks for tuning in. College football is officially back. And so are we. We couldn't be happier. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll talk to you again next week when we meet again. Fire up, Chips.